Ilse Koch, the so-called Witch of Buchenwald, was not a myth, nor a product of exaggerated wartime propaganda. She was real, and her horrors were as tangible as the skin she allegedly turned into artifacts. Born in 1906 in Dresden, Germany, Ilse grew up in the disillusionment that followed World War I. A bright student who later trained as a librarian, she entered the world of the Nazi Party in the 1930s with a mix of ambition and unsettling charisma. She met SS officer Karl Otto Koch and became his wife. But their union was more than matrimonial. It was a pact sealed in cruelty. When Koch became the commandant of the Buchenwald concentration camp, Ilse accompanied him, not as a silent wife, but as an active orchestrator of suffering. She was known among prisoners for her horse rides through the camp, where she would observe inmates and select them not for labor, but for death. Those with unique tattoos were allegedly marked by her for slaughter, their skin removed post-mortem and preserved. Eyewitness accounts tell of lampshades, book covers, gloves, and wallets crafted from human skin, some even displayed in her private quarters. These claims were so grotesque that even other high-ranking Nazis launched internal investigations into the Kochs. Yet Ilse thrived in that chaos, moving with arrogance and authority, lording over a place that reeked of death and despair. She was said to watch beatings, floggings, and executions with pleasure, sometimes laughing, sometimes directing punishments herself. Her cruelty went beyond orders. It was personal, calculated, and disturbingly inventive. She manipulated prisoners, ordered tortures not for discipline, but for her own amusement. Her house overlooked the camp. It is said she would drink wine on her balcony as the smoke of the crematoriums curled into the sky. Inside that home, surrounded by grotesque souvenirs, she played the role of the sophisticated hostess, while the ground beneath her teemed with bones. When the war ended, Ilse Koch was arrested by American forces. At her trial during the Buchenwald proceedings, survivors gave testimony that stunned the world. She denied the most damning charges, including the human skin lampshades, but the weight of horror could not be dismissed. She was sentenced to life in prison in 1947, only to have that sentence controversially reduced in 1948, sparking public outrage. A second trial followed, and once again, she was condemned to live out her days in a cell. Even there, she was feared. Other inmates spoke of her silence, of her shadow. She became a symbol not just of Nazi cruelty, but of female brutality in its most nightmarish form. In 1967, she took her own life, hanging herself in her prison cell. But her legacy remains, whispered in documentaries, feared in history books, immortalized not by her words, but by the agony of her victims. Ilse Koch's story is not a legend to be told, it is a warning to be remembered. She was not a monster in disguise, she was fully human, which makes her all the more terrifying. The Witch of Buchenwald is not just a title, it is a wound in history that never fully closed.